Hi everyone, this is Kyle with kayDbait. I'm going to be doing a video on how to live comfortably with less than $10,000 a year. Now, first thing is to get all the expenses out of the way, which is rent at $350 a month, which is fair, $50 for utilities, and $300 a month for food. Now, all of that adds up to $9,000 in a year. So with that money gone, because those are pretty basic necessities for living at all, with any kind of job that you have to have a shower every day and eating every day and just generally having some kind of amenities that keep life livable in a personal way, electricity and maybe internet, all of those things are already incorporated, so $9,000 gone. Now if you want more, like a phone, a $30 phone that you can turn off for the months you don't need, because some jobs require you to have a phone, or to get a job you might need a phone. So that's $360 for the year. That's gone. Owning a car can be pretty pricey for insurance and gas, but there are companies that will compensate you for carpooling with others. So if you can join a carpool, or you can be the chauffeur of a carpool, they might actually compensate you for doing that. My dad does that. He gets paid somewhere between $5 a day per person that he drives to work, and that can pay for your gas. It might actually give you a little bit more. So that could work in keeping that number low. So that one's for the car. Now a few life tips for keeping, because some people cannot spend less than $300 a month on food. So I'll actually explain how you do that also, which is make your own food. Don't eat out. Eating out is very expensive and can easily get above $350. If you only do it once a week, you can probably keep it down. But generally, if you cook your own food and don't get pre-made food, even at stores, such as the pre-made hamburger patties or the pre-made salads or the fancy sushis that they have, those things can add up very quickly, $10 for just one meal, and especially for the sushi. And those kinds of things eat your food budget very quickly. So cook your own food and make sure to be frugal. Now this is the next point, is dating. If you want to have a social life, it's not necessarily dating, but any kind of social life, be frugal but not cheap. If you're going to, I'll use dating as an example. Let's see, let me see my notes. Okay, yes. Go to the park instead of the movies. Cook her a meal or him a meal instead of going out to a restaurant. And instead of buying a gift, you can make a gift if you are capable of doing that. Those kinds of actions can actually be can be endearing in a different way. It's definitely outside of the social norm, and if you are capable of doing these things, then it could work out, and it's definitely cheaper. So frugal, not cheap, is a very positive and beneficial way of looking at saving money without seeming to be a jerk. And because also, you can ask to split the bill. A lot of people consider it chivalry to pay all the money, but some people would like to actually, and I'm not saying this is a guarantee, that might seem offensive to some people, but if it's acceptable, ask to split the costs. If you travel to them, if they travel to you, pay half instead of all of it, and that way everyone can have a fair, level playing field. That's obviously not universal, but it could keep the cost down. So all of that put together, the rent, I put it $350 because that's a nice sized room in an apartment, not an apartment complex, but a cheap room somewhere. And the utilities are sometimes included. My rent right now is $350 flat, no utilities. My food bill is actually considerably less than $300, but I am extremely frugal, and I've lived that way my whole life. This is not necessarily something people can just pick up and do, so I gave a little bit more leeway on those things. And some places will charge more, like in New York, rent is much more. Shared rooms are terrible, but very cheap. And this guide is for living cheaply, not living willy-nilly. If you want to live as cheap as possible, live under a bridge. And I have slept in the subway before because I didn't have money. That was a different situation, but I survived. There are some people that would not be able to do that. They would go somewhere else. They would borrow money. They would live in a shelter. I was in the subway, and then I went to work. Went to the subway, not the restaurant. Went to work. I kept doing that until I saved up more money, and then I found an apartment that was shared with somebody else, and it was cheap enough. And I was able to progress from there. And now I have my own room. I'm able to make my own videos. I have food. I have all these nice things. And it's not necessarily because I lived frugally, but it's because I perpetuated my life. I kept getting better at it. So once you learn how to shop properly, once you learn how to live cheaply, and I'm using cheaply like frugally, not cheap as in I'm not paying for anything. Food stamps are something I never thought I would get, and as soon as I can get off of them, I will. But because I was robbed, my $4,000 savings account emptied. Then I lent somebody money. They refused to pay back. I had that money so that I could, start my retirement. I'm only 25 years old. I already had $4,000 in my retirement. I was gonna, keep building on that. And now it's gone, and I was like, I don't even have enough money for food. So I made, after taxes last year, $12,000. I had a lot of free time. I worked on learning how to do a lot of different things. And, well, I didn't have good internet, so I couldn't make these videos. I was able to still save $4,000 out of that $12,000 I made. And I lived an entire year at $8,000. So that's what I did. These are the things that I did. I was frugal. I was cheap. I didn't have a phone most of the year. I didn't have high utility bills because I practiced cheap living. Turn off lights, don't use a lot of water, don't eat out a lot. These are the things that people don't know how to do. If you want to live under $10,000 a year, it's just like trying to get in shape. It's a lifestyle change. It's not like a diet. You can't just turn it on and off because one splurge and all of your savings are gone. That's not what happened to me, but it happens to a lot of people. They save up large amounts of money and then they go and buy a car, or they go gambling. That's another one. Minimize the habits that cost a lot of money, or outright get rid of them. Drinking, smoking, drugs, gambling, all of those eat way more money than they should in a lot of people's lives. Minimize those, maximize the frugality. It's not so much automatic rich scheme. You will sacrifice. You will be on hard times for a while. Once you get to the point where you don't have to live under $10,000 a year, up it to the point where it's comfortable but still frugal. If you make $100,000 a year, you don't have to live $10,000 or less, but you should not be spending 90% of your income every year. You should save a very large portion of it. I would say about a fourth of your pay should go to savings for your retirement. Because if you retire at 60 and live to 90, you should still have 30% of the money. Otherwise, you'll run out. That's how I see it. Save about 30, 40% max, more if you can. But on average, it should be around that. And I shouldn't have said max. I should have said on average. If you can save more, if you can save 80% of your paycheck because of whatever, maybe the military is paying for your housing, or maybe you're still living with your parents, whatever the reason, if you can save more, save more. Live frugally. You will benefit greatly in the future from living good now. That's what people have a problem with. Stop spending, start saving. This guide, this very basic guide, it took me not even 10 minutes to write out all of my notes about how to live under $10,000 a year. You can do it if you are in a certain lifestyle, or if you're used to the finer things. You don't need those things. If that's your comfort, living in luxury, you will not be able to do this. You will not be able to choose to do this. Physically, you can. Physically, all you need is shelter, food, and safety, and you will be alive in 50 years. You won't be happy necessarily, but you'll be alive. This guide is a survival guide for how to live with your basic needs, including having enough to maintain your physical appearance and hygiene, and still be able to go to work and sleep at night. So travel, communications, food, and it's just all of the basics. If you want more, that number will go up. But any guide that says living under $10,000 a year and doesn't say that is probably wrong. Or it's those super couponers that get paid to shop. And yes, that works. There are people that can get $100, $200 worth of groceries for nothing. That's different. That's how to super coupon. And yes, it's very effective, and I'm fairly sure difficult to do. But it does work, and that's a completely different subject. This is about survival, not about the ultimate frugal experience. Some people get a real big kick out of that. I get a kick out of this. My notes are right here, that's my point. Live life to survive now and save for the future. That is the message that I'm giving you in this video. There are a lot of different ways to do that, and I'm not saying that you should scam the system by getting food stamps or welfare or anything like that. What I'm saying is that if you need the help, you can get the help. And that is also an important message that some people don't agree with. They say, I don't want help, or I don't need help, when they really do. I needed the help. I did not have enough money for food. I had lost my savings. I had lost everything. So I finally admitted to myself that I can't do this right now. I'm getting sick from not eating. I am not eating right. I have had nothing but cereal and milk for a week, and I'm starting to feel really sick. I need meats. I need vegetables and fruits. I need grains. I needed all of these things that I wasn't getting, because I technically did have grains, but I had that 88-cent wheat bread from H-E-B or Walmart with jelly on it that was pretty much sugar, and peanut butter, which was actually pretty good. But you can't just eat cereal and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You will get sick. I needed meats. I needed all of the things I couldn't get with the money that I had. I got food stamps. Living under 10,000, yes. If you can't even make 10,000, you probably need help from government or from family or from somebody, because if you can't have a job, so you're living on the street or you're living in a homeless shelter, then you need some boost to help you get a job to get to the 10,000 mark, so you can live in the 10,000 mark, because that's actually fairly high for some people also. If you don't make the money, or if you are incapable of holding a job because of some kind of problem, then you probably need help. And if you're too stubborn to get help, then I am sorry. But if you're watching this video, you're probably checking how to do it. So that's my message for this video, is this is my help. And if it's not enough, seek more. And like all of my videos, all this is the first step. Do more research on how to do this. Watch other videos. I'm sure you will. If you're watching this one with the title I'm going to give it, How to Live Under 10,000 a Year, and I've made a video like this previously, then you will probably be looking at more. And take what works out of each one. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong. I'm not saying if mine's right or wrong. I'm just saying this is how I live. And I did save $4,000 out of the $12,000 I made. And it worked. I was not unhappy for most of that time. I mean, obviously I was going through a very problematic relationship, but that's besides the point. That was something outside of finances. So the video is already getting long, so I wanted to make this for you guys. What do you guys think I said that was good? What do you guys think that I said that was bad? How can I improve my videos? How can I stop hurting my videos? And generally, what do you guys think? And how do you guys live? Give me tips too. I would love to have them, because I want to live even frugalier, if that's a word. It sounds like something from a cartoon. Anyway, take care. Peace.